Welcome to Watch Symposium live streams. I'm Austin. It's January 1st, 2022. It's nearly 4 in the afternoon, and earlier I made a video. I uploaded it. Likely as I'm making this, many of you guys are watching that video about the price rises, and well, I look forward to your comments. I've seen a few comments, one from Paulo in South America. Apparently the Daytona has gone up by 30% there. That's crazy. Anyway, so it's New Year's Day here. The girls are playing, and earlier today we went to a few Shinto shrines and did what's called the Omairi, where you chuck a coin into a wooden box and you clap your hands together and ring a bell. I'm getting the order a bit wrong there. And then you sort of, you either give thanks or you talk about what you hope for or wish for, in the coming year. And, when it comes to Japan, there are two main religions here, and really neither of them are native to Japan. The closest would be Shinto, and it was brought to Japan when the northern tribes, I guess in Korea and Mongolia, made their way to Japan. And Shinto is, well, it's a religion of many gods, and they're gods in mountains and trees and whatnot. And it lends itself to, I guess, kind of a secular aspect, and not a lot is said about like what happens after you die and whatnot. The other came from China, along with kanji, which is the Chinese characters in, the 12th, 13th century or so. Might be off about 100 or 200 years or so. Well, anyway, Buddhism is Buddhism, and we won't go into that really, but, the religious structures here, you have the shrines, jinjas, where you go on New Year's Day, and that's where we went. And of course, temples are where you sort of pay your respects to the dead, and that has to do with Buddhism. So anyway, we're back home. By the way, if you come to Japan during New Year's and you hit a shrine or two, you're supposed to hit 3. We did 5 for good measure. We did 4, and then my wife was like, okay, I think I'm all right. And I was like, we can't stop at 4 because 4 is like an unlucky number here. When you count, it goes ichi ni san shi. All right, shi is kind of close to the sound for death, and in Asian countries, for that reason, is considered inauspicious. I was like, we can't go to 4, we got to go to 5. Anyway, all right, very unlike me. I'm pretty secular. So all right, so here I am, and I'm gonna drink a few beers and just kind of talk about some things. I've got 3 beers actually. I've got Budweiser. And why is Japan the best place to drink beer? It is, by the way. You might not get the best beer here, but it's the best place to drink beer. Why? Because they tell you what's in the beer, and they give you, calorie count and nutritional information and stuff. And that's really important information. I mean, you want to know what's in your beer, right? So I've got a Budweiser here. I've got 2 others I'm going to show you in a second. And the reason I have a Budweiser is because, to me, it's sort of the Rolex of beers. Okay, that's kind of weird. Maybe it's the Seiko of beers. We often talk about Rolex as being the benchmark of watches. Is this the benchmark of beers? No, but it's a good way to measure beers because it's very nondescript. It's light. There's not a lot to it. It's pretty vanilla. And so the benchmark, perhaps. And the tab is red, and it's got, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got the, some sort of like crown or something. It almost looks like a Rolex coronet. So maybe we can equate this with Rolex. All right. No, we can't. I'll tell you why. Because of the adjuncts in here, and that's the additions to what regular beer has, which is malt and hops. And here's where, and I'm sorry for the wind, guys, but I can't stop it. It's got malted barley and then hops, and then it's got rice. The rice is kind of junky. A lot of people say it gives it sort of a crisp taste. And I think they might be right, but not really what you want for your good quality beers. But I was thinking about starting out with this one, but I probably should start out with a better one. I've also got this, which is Japanese beer, a winter beer. It looks very wintry here. And this just has malted barley and hops. So very pure here. And again, I love knowing what's in the beer. You know, it's surprising what's in, for example, Sapporo. All right. It has a lot of adjuncts and it's got a good reputation, but you look at those adjuncts and you're like, really? And then other brands will add corn and starch and sugar, and sometimes they'll even just add alcohol on top of it. It's pretty nasty. So I love this. Now this right here, this was expensive, 380 yen, which is probably like $3. But we're talking, buying beer at the grocery store, and a big Kirin or Asahi or Sapporo, which probably really are the benchmark because they're Japanese beers. And I want to say Asahi, I don't know if they have adjuncts in them or not, but you can get a 500 milliliter can for 217 yen at like kind of a discount store. It could be about 30 yen more at another store. And so just this one, quite a bit smaller, and you can see, at 380 yen, pretty expensive. Now, the premium malts, that's a premium brand, and this is like the premium of the premium brand. Master's Dream. I have to try this. In fact, I'll definitely start out with this. And what does this have in it? Definitely no adjuncts here, but I'll just tell you it's got, malted barley and hops, and that's it. And it's got a alcohol percentage of 7%. 7% for this one, 5.5 for this one, and Budweiser has, I want to say 5%. Now, to drink these, man, my hands are cold, but I've got a solution to that, and that's beer koozie. I bought it $1 from eBay, had it sent to my mom. She then sent it to me, and it would have cost like probably $20 to have it sent to the States. So I'll put that shipping on my mom. All right, but anyway, I have no idea what key is, but hey, it fits the channel. Green, like Rolex color. I'm gonna go with this. First time using the beer koozie. You know why I wanted a beer koozie? Because I was walking on the street and I saw this Japanese girl and a foreign guy, boyfriend and girlfriend probably, walking on the street. The guy had a beer. Well, he had something in a koozie and he was just sipping it. And I was like, that's pretty badass, man. I don't know what you're drinking, but you look like you're having a good time. Have your, woman on one side, your beer and alcohol of some sort. And I was like, I got to get a koozie. I'm gonna walk around Japan with beer and a koozie, and came home, did some shopping. All right, so we'll get into the watch talk in a minute. But let me just say that I want to get a new phone. I'm going to do that. This is a iPhone 7, and I want to get the new iPhone, and once I do, I think that's going to be a lot faster, and I'll probably do these kind of videos live, all right? But, we're just doing it pre-recorded. Let's just pretend it's live, okay? All right, here we go, Master Dream. I really want to see the color of it. I guess I'm gonna have to buy another one so I can see the color of it. It looks, I don't know what it is. It looks kind of dark, but it's in a can, so I can't tell you. All right, here we go, taste test. Wow, that's really good. Wow, not sweet. I mean, a little bit sweet, but not like Bud sweet. And really not bitter at all. Really mild. I mean, there's a little bit of bitter there, but not like a pale ale or anything like that. And you can't tell it's a 7%. It tastes like a 4.5 or something. I can't even tell it's got alcohol in it. Oh, that's great. All right. Is it worth 380 yen? Nah, not really. I mean, 217 for a 500 milliliters of Kirin or Asahi. just, I got to check the adjuncts on those. All right. Okay, so, hi, girls. All right. Are you guys having fun? You want to come over and say hi? Here, come here and you can say hi. And say, Happy New Year. Come here. You say, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. What about you? You want to do it?
Yes.
Come on over. Crouch down. I don't know. Okay. You want to say Happy New Year?
Happy New Year.
All right. Have fun. Go play.
Okay.
All right. We got watch talk to get to. All right. So now, as I indicated, it very well might depend on the country, because if Paulo is right in that South American country he was referring to, I think it was Brazil, 30% increase for the Daytona. That's crazy. That's a lot. And I guess we could see more Rolexes crossing borders. I mean, if it's a 4% increase in this country and 30% increase in that country, then I guess it just makes sense that people would buy in the cheaper country and then fly them to where they can get more money for them. And that's already happening here in Japan. That's the way the Japanese do it, and that's why there's so many good watches here, because there are shops all over Asia where you could flip your watch and they'll wind up here. And that's why a lot of the papers, come from Hong Kong and China and that kind of thing. So that could happen. All right, so let's talk about what the price increase means for 5-digit models, the pre-ceramic models. And we'll just use the GMT Master 2, the 16710, as a data point. Now, that seemed to be going for, I want to say 12, 13, 14, really good examples, maybe 15,000 on the gray market. And if you contrast that with the ceramic GMT prices, which were going for a couple thousand less, what does this increase mean for the pre-ceramic prices? Are they going to go up? I don't think they're going to go up naturally, but I think this might be an excuse for gray market dealers and anybody with 5-digit to justify either to themselves or to a potential customer an increase. So I think we might see them try to increase prices. Now, will people continue to buy? I'm not sure. I mean, you got to wonder if there's like price fixing and or if it's just sort of, is it price fixing, but it's just unspoken. It's like, people just up their prices, and you're a retailer, a gray market dealer, and you see it and you're like, okay, writing's on the wall here. I might as well do it too. I don't want to undersell my watch. And a lot of people think that, well, Rolex is a bubble period, and I think, if it is, when's it popping? I mean, I can't see it popping anytime soon. Is the price increase and a price increase that's not uniform across the world, is that going to do something? Is that going to change the way people think? I mean, the GMT and the sub, and they've gone up by 10 and 11%. That hurts. I mean, are people going to get pissed off by it? I mean, we're talking about a $10,000 watch anyway, and if you've got $10,000 to spend on a watch, you've got $11,000, right? So I think people might talk a good game, and I think they might say, I don't know, I'm going to check out other brands. That's BS. I mean, if you get a chance to buy a retail Rolex sports model, even with this price increase, you're going to do it, right? And don't believe those people for a second that say, I'm done with Rolex. You're not done with Rolex. You get that call, you get a chance to buy it, you're going to be singing a different tune. So don't listen to those people. Now, could this be a point where people just sort of say, yeah, it's getting a little bit, I don't know, ridiculous. I don't think, I don't think it's going to change anything. All right. I'm just saying, could this be the start of people questioning things that results in the popping of the bubble? Possibly, but I don't think so. Going back to the pre-ceramic pieces, I think, again, you'll see the price of those increase. They've been increasing anyway, but again, I think gray market dealers might just say, yeah, we just might up it by 10%, just like Rolex did, see what happens. And if all of them do it and stick to their guns, well, new people getting the Rolex watches will just, pay that money. And look, if you're just getting into Rolex watches and you Google, what a retail GMT is, and then you look at the gray market prices, and then you look at what they're going for in terms of the 5-digit, then it's kind of justifiable. You might feel like you're getting a deal. I could go with a $20,000 BLNR, or I could go for a $13,000 or $14,000 16710. All right. I mean, it's an older model, yeah, but it would get that person into a Rolex. And some people like that older aesthetic. So those people won't be put off, especially if they're new and they haven't kept track of price rises. People that have said, I'd love to get a GMT Master 2 or something like that, I'll see if prices have gone down. I mean, they've been lost for years now, unless they finally say, screw it. I've been telling myself every year that it might go down, and it's clearly not. So I'm just gonna have to suck it up and pay that, several $1,000s more. And yeah, I guess that's what you have to do these days. I mean, if you want 5-digit watches, and I'm repeating myself, I mean, I made a video about this before getting my P serial. Now is the time to get the GMT Master 2 or your pre-ceramic piece, whatever you want, like anything, pre-ceramic, Sea Dweller, Date Just, whatever. Yesterday's the time. I mean, I made that video over, I want to say 2 years ago. Nothing's changed. Today's the day. Yesterday's the day. Bubble has not popped. It's not going to pop. That should be the 4:15 chime across the city. Children, time to go home, time to come out of the rice fields. They have 2 bells, one 4:15 and one 5. I wonder if it's like, likely the ringing of these bells and these announcements probably go back decades, and it could be to a time where maybe the 4:15 bell was for the women to go back first, start cooking, and then men work a little bit longer. 5 o'clock comes, their bell goes off. I'm just guessing here. It's a pretty male-dominated society, so that's my guess. We'll just say for 2021, whoever's cooking that day. All right. So yeah, price increases. I think I've rambled on, but let's finish this beer. Oh, great beer, by the way. I'm gonna follow this beer by the Rolex of beers, the benchmark. We can't call this the Rolex of beers. I gotta check. I'm thinking maybe Kirin Ichibori, as long as it doesn't have any adjuncts, could be a good benchmark. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, this will be my benchmark. Maybe we have to equate it more with a Seiko, though. This is probably more of a Seiko beer. Not good enough to be a Rolex beer, right? Anyway, I'm probably thinking too much about this. Weigh in the comment section. I'm enjoying my koozie, guys. Key. Watch Symposium live streams sponsored by Key. They just don't know it. All right. All right. That's the problem, taking the beer out of the koozie. Although thanks to this, not so hard. Without this, it would have been hard. All right. So. It's not too different, to be honest. It's not too different. That was a really surprisingly mild 7% beer, and this is 5%. It tastes a little bit more watery. Maybe that's in my mind. Honestly, if you had them side by side, not completely, different. In fact, I don't know if this is kind of not cool to like open a couple beers at the same time, but I'm going to open this too. I have a feeling this will be, well, this is 5.5. Let's see. Maybe this will be a little bit more hoppy. Let's just see. It's got a little bit more punch at the end. I mean, man, the subtlety in taste is, I mean, it's so that it's tough to really say, oh, this is, maybe I'm just not good at it, but this has a little bit of this. I mean, I honestly, if you like put all these beers, poured them all out, we've got kind of a really cheap beer here, and then probably one of the most expensive ones that I could find at this store. I don't know if I could really tell the difference, guys. All right, well, there goes my credibility as a beer connoisseur. Yeah, the Budweiser is a little bit more, just doesn't have as much flavor. Again, I have to question how much of that is in my mind. So many things, what you've eaten before, if you've eaten anything, how hungry you are, how full you are. So many things come into play when it comes to taste, and the subtlety of beer is such that when you factor everything in, I don't really taste a lot of difference between beers. I admit it. Although sometimes you see like these videos where like a beer connoisseur will try like a cheap beer versus an expensive beer. I saw one, this guy, I've seen him a couple times, I really like him a lot. He nailed it. He nails it. Which, I guess if you try side by side, who knows, maybe they gave him the answers, I'm not sure. I don't know if I could do that. The funny thing is, this is so mild, it's 7%, but it's so mild. And maybe that's the whole point. If this was 7%, it would be more harsh, but they're able to make this 7%, but the mildness of this, I don't know. I feel like it should have a little bit more punch at the end. I don't think this was hoppy enough. But maybe that's a quality, a good thing that people are looking for. The bitterness is maybe not something everybody wants. I feel like a good beer should have a bit of bitterness to it. But the Japanese palate is such that, they don't really like spicy things. I imagine that they like their hops, but not as much. That could be it right there. That could be it there, right there. Yeah. All right, so try them side by side right here. Yeah, this has a little bit more hoppy punch at the end, but it's minimal. It's really minimal. Yeah, I don't know. The cynic in me is kind of coming out and saying, you know what? I think maybe they being the beer makers looking at the Japanese market, perhaps have identified sort of the sweet spot for the Japanese palate in terms of beer, and are just going for that wherever they can. Because you have something like this and you make it bitter, and all you need is some guy going, "Oh, it's too bitter. I don't like it." Again, it's a lot of it is in perception, because you pay 380 yen for this. You're gonna tell yourself it's like worth it, right? It's honestly, I don't think it's worth it. Okay, I'm just telling you now. But you might, and especially if you have an audience, you don't want to seem like an idiot, right? I mean, you don't want to get on YouTube and drink a Bud and then a premium malt master's dream and say, I can't tell the difference. I mean, what an idiot would do that, right? Right? So, yeah, that might be going on. But it could be that they might have identified the sweet spot, in terms of the Japanese palate, and most beers go for that. And then as far as, the perception of beer being really so much more better, maybe taste-wise it isn't there, but it is in terms of, price and presentation and stuff. What are you giggling about? How are you doing, by the way? What's up with you, Gilly? Yeah? Snot. Okay, well, I've got a tissue.
I need a tissue.
We've got to leave in 5 minutes. Here, come on over. Bath time happens at 4:30. Come on, Snotty. Come here. Can I call you Snotty?
No, I don't want snotty.
Here, come here. You doing good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You having a good New Year's Day?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's great. Do you need a wipe, Sarah? All right. Well, drinking beer, wiping snot with my daughters. Honestly, life doesn't get much better than this, guys. It really doesn't. All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Take care. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to my other channel. Thank you so much for watching. I really love the comments I get in the comment section. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to write them. It's fun, and it gives me that sense of community and brotherhood. Yeah, that's nice. So I do the videos and the money a little bit, but mostly it's telling you guys things about things I find out, like price rises. I get excited about that kind of thing. I gotta tell somebody, right? The girls don't care about it. So that's what you guys are there for, right? We're there for each other, sharing our watch knowledge, our passion about these little machines. Take care. Thanks for watching. Have a great New Year. All right, guys, just a bit of an epilogue here. All right, so beer number 4. Kind of snuck this one. I promised my wife I would just have 3, but they're in the shower now. She won't notice. No, she'll totally notice. All right. This is Ibiza Hop Terrier. And man, this has got a hoppy taste to it. We put it in its koozie. All right, so there you go. In its koozie, and yes, this has a lot more hoppy punch to it. And it's interesting because when I came back in, I was drinking that winter beer. I don't even remember what it was called, but the 5.5%, with the reindeer on it. And I could taste more. It was weird. It was like if you're outside and you're completely cold, I don't know, maybe your body's like, yeah, we have to keep you warm. We can't really focus on your taste buds now, buddy. But when I was like sitting here editing the first part of this video, I could taste it so much more. So now I feel like a bit of a schmuck. So, hey, we learned something today. If you're going to taste beers, do it to where you're like comfortable, in a like a warm place, so you're like not freezing. Don't get to where you're like freezing your balls off and drink beer, because your body's going to prioritize probably keeping warm. We learned something. But this is hoppy. This is nice. I like this a lot, actually. But the 5.5 flavored up as well. Well, it didn't flavor up. I was able to taste it. So, yeah, we learned something today. Don't drink beer in cold weather. All right, there you go.